The click of the lock echoing in the otherwise silent house was my nightly cue. Joanna would be home soon. I took a deep breath, the scent of rosemary and garlic, tonight's carefully prepared meal, a bitter irony in the air. I smoothed the tablecloth, the crisp linen a stark contrast to the crumpled mess my life had become. I heard her car pull into the driveway, the familiar crunch of tires on gravel, a sound that no longer brought comfort, only a dull ache in my chest. The key turned in the lock, the door swung open, and there she was, Joanna, my wife. Her smile, once my sunshine, now felt like a slap in the face. "Hey, honey," she chirped, leaning in for a peck on the cheek that I barely registered. "Sorry I'm late. Big meeting ran over." The lie hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Big meeting, right, I almost laughed. I'd known about the meetings for weeks. Known about Ryker, her colleague, the smarmy, overly tanned project manager with the slicked back hair and fake smile. I'd seen the texts, the furtive glances, the late nights that became more frequent, the flimsy excuses that grew increasingly elaborate. "It's fine," I replied, my voice flat, devoid of the warmth it once held for her. "Dinner's ready." She sat down, oblivious to the simmering volcano beneath my carefully constructed facade. I served her a plate of pasta, the aroma doing nothing to mask the metallic tang of betrayal that coated my tongue. "This smells amazing," she said, twirling the pasta around her fork. "Thanks," I replied, my hand trembling slightly as I placed the stack of papers beside her plate. She glanced at them, her brow furrowing in confusion. "What's this?" "Just some light reading for after dinner," I said, my voice barely above a whisper, though each word was laced with a venom I hadn't known I possessed. She picked up the top sheet. It was a printout of a text message. Her text message. "To Ryker, missing you already," it read, followed by a string of emojis I couldn't bring myself to decipher. Her eyes widened, a flicker of panic igniting in the depths. She flipped through the pages, each one a testament to her deceit, each one a dagger twisting in my gut. The color drained from her face, leaving her a ghostly white. Where did you get these?" she stammered, her voice barely audible. "Does it matter?" I asked, my voice cold, hard. "They're real, aren't they?" She didn't answer. She couldn't. The evidence was undeniable. The meticulously documented record of her infidelity, laid bare for all to see. Months of lies, condensed into a neat, damning stack of paper. Tears welled in her eyes. I can explain," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Explain what, Joanna?" I asked, my voice rising. "Explain how you could lie to me, betray me, for months. Explain how you could look me in the eye every day and pretend everything was okay." Her tears flowed freely now, but they held no power over me. I had cried enough tears for both of us. "It just happened," she sobbed, the classic, pathetic excuse of the unfaithful. "Happened," I scoffed. "Infidelity isn't a spontaneous combustion, Joanna. It's a series of choices. Choices you made. Every secret rendezvous, every lie, every whispered, 'I love you,' to another man, those were choices." She crumpled, her head in her hands, the picture of remorse. But it was too late. The damage was done. The trust, shattered beyond repair. "I'm leaving," I said, my voice calm, resolute. I had already packed a bag. I'd known this was coming, had been preparing for it, even as I held onto a sliver of hope that I was wrong. I walked out of the house, the scent of rosemary and garlic lingering in the air, a cruel reminder of the life we'd shared, the life she'd destroyed. The next morning, I drove to Ryker's apartment. I'd found his address in Joanna's phone, another piece of the puzzle she'd unknowingly provided. He answered the door, a smug smirk plastered on his face, replaced by a look of pure terror as he recognized me. "You," he snarled, his voice dripping with disdain. "Me," I confirmed, my voice low and menacing. I stepped past him, uninvited, into his pristine, minimalist apartment. He looked like a startled deer caught in headlights. The surprise visit had clearly thrown him off balance. "What do you want?" he stammered, his bravado melting away. "I want you to know that I know," I said, my voice rising with each word. "I know about you and Joanna. I know about your meetings, your late-night calls, your stolen moments." His face paled. He looked around nervously, as if expecting Joanna to magically appear and rescue him. I don't know what you're talking about," he stammered, the lie as transparent as glass. I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Don't insult my intelligence, Ryker. I have proof. Pages and pages of proof. I didn't need to show him. He knew. The fear in his eyes told me everything. Look, it was just a fling, he mumbled, his voice barely a whisper. A fling that destroyed my marriage, I corrected, my voice dripping with venom. A fling that broke my heart. I didn't hit him. I didn't yell. The sheer force of my controlled fury was enough. He cowered before me, a pathetic, sniveling excuse for a man. Get out of my life, Ryker, I said, my voice low and dangerous. And stay away from Joanna. I turned and walked out, leaving him standing there, a broken man in his pristine apartment. The fallout was swift and brutal. Joanna lost her job. The whispers and sideways glances followed her everywhere. Ryker, too, faced the consequences. His reputation tarnished, his career in jeopardy. I moved out, found a small apartment across town, and began the slow, arduous process of rebuilding my life. The pain was still there, a dull ache in my chest, but it was fading, replaced by a sense of quiet resolve. I never spoke to Joanna or Ryker again. I didn't need to. Their world had crashed down around them, a consequence of their own making. My revenge wasn't a grand, theatrical gesture. It was the quiet satisfaction of knowing that they had lost everything, while I, despite the pain, had gained my freedom. The freedom to start anew, to rebuild, to find happiness again, on my own terms.